Why is it that FSBOs get to be all caps and expireds don't?
Well, because expired suck and FSBOs are the best.
Wow,
That's
look
why.
at you, look at you, look at you. Yeah, I'm not even going to get started on this yet. So I don't know. What are we doing here, Brandon? Tell me a little bit about what we're doing.
Yep. So here's the goal for today. The goal for today is listen, you've made a career from expired listings. I've made a career from for sale by owners. My goal is that you and I go and really try to help each other look at those two opportunities from a different lens. And hopefully someone that's watching this either today or 10 years from now looks at it and says, shit, you know what? I've never thought about expired listings the way that Aaron just said. Or shoot, I never thought about what Brandon's talking about with for sale by owners, because I think there's a lot of agents out there that, that won't call for sale by owners. They love expireds because they're now business and whatever the case may be, however you're going to argue this, which is all going to be BS. I'm just kidding. That they say, wow, I need to add FSBOs to a pillar in my business. Oh, or vice versa. That's my goal.
Yeah, you know what I heard? There's one word that I heard at the beginning. You're like, oh, shit. Okay? When you said, oh, shit, you're like, oh, shit, I have to call another for sale by owner because they're going to be a pain in my ass to work with. I'm going to catch up on every word. You better watch yourself there, boy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So let's get into it, and I've been thinking about this for a little while, and this is what I try to talk to a lot of agents about is to why I believe for sale by owner is the best opportunities that a real estate agent has to get now listings. And number one is I don't know, Aaron, of another lead source in real estate that has where you could say this with 100% certainty, and that is they're selling their house. I mean, they got the flag in their front yard that they're selling today.
But they may not be committed to selling because they're asking some price that's like it's worth like $100,000. It's worth X, and they want Y, and there's no way in hell anybody's getting Y. So they may be committed to selling, just not for something realistic, right?
Yeah, that could be the case. My challenge with expires is, the number one objection probably is, I'm not selling my house. It's off the market. 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 Whatever the case may be, where for sale by owners, we know before we even call that person that they have some interest in selling their home. So we don't get that objection is number one.
Or you just don't know the right things to say.
Yeah, you could be right.
An expired script, you may not know what to say because at the end of the day, they wanted to sell their house yesterday, right? Well, let me ask you this, Brandon. So you wanted to sell your house yesterday. What the heck happened in the last 24 hours?
Well, every Tom, Dick, and Harry for the last 6 months has tried to show my house, either gave me a lowball offer, some kind of crap, and now here we are today, 6 months later, and nothing has happened, so I'm freaking done.
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, yesterday you wanted X, right?
Yep.
And I get somebody who's going to give you X. Would you still sell your home?
Possibly.
Exactly. So I just got the yes that I wanted to. So
yes, no doubt. And so listen, and that's something I think about all the time. Because the other thing I look at, Aaron, is how do I get an agent to prospect, right?
Sure.
And when they call these expired listings and they get these objections where they have not mastered their script, because that's the lens in which I look through, is most of these agents that either I help or that want my help, dude, they're scared shitless to make one call.
Right.
Because
Oh, yeah,
you're speaking it from the lens of Michael Jordan doing 360 dunks. I'm talking about getting an agent to call for the first time, right? And so the second thing I would bring up is with the for sale by owner, I believe in winning with base hits, which we're going to talk a shitload about today. But a base hit in my world is getting an agent face to face with a homeowner. And I believe the easiest way to do that is for sale by owners.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I mean, I do a bit of for sale by owners. What I found with FSBOs is that they're difficult, and it is a long haul. What I found with expireds is they've already raised their hand and said, I want to sell my house. I want to sell it. I'm just a little bit crazy. So you've got to deal with crazy on both ends of it, right? Like you're not exactly dealing with a completely normal human beings. Yet, how can I put it, is when you're talking to an expired, as long as you get in there and you get in there first and quick, you're going to have the ability to have a solid conversation, right? With FSBOs, they're getting called by 75 real estate agents as well?
Yep.
And what's the one thing that they say all the time?
I don't want to list my house, or do you have a buyer?
Oh, boom, right there. Boom.
Yep.
What do you say when that happens?
Yeah, so let's role play it out. Ready?
Yes.
So you just say, hey, Brandon, you want to come over to my house? Do you have a buyer?
Hey, Brian, do you have Brian, I just called you the wrong name. Brandon, do you have a buyer?
Great question. Before getting to work, I'll stop by one day this week, take a quick look, and then we'll go from there. What's the best day for us to get together? Mornings or evenings? Or
if you don't have a buyer, I don't want anybody coming through my house.
Yeah, you know what? And I get it. Most people selling for sale by owners, that's what they think. And my thought is this: most people selling says, "Well, agents, bring me all these buyers." Aaron, let me ask you a question. Where does the buyer come from when selling a house? Do you know?
Where's the buyer come from? The internet, Zillow.
Okay, so it comes from seeing your home somewhere. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, Zillow.
Okay, maybe Zillow.
Zillow, and we're having an open house next weekend too.
There you go. I love it. And so here's what I'll do. Maybe I'll stop by. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll stop by the open house. But Zillow's whole thing, and when we get together, I'm going to walk you through your Zillow ad strategy, and I'll give you some recommendations as to what you can do moving forward. Because before we even go anywhere, Aaron, I am not concerned with listing your home, right? I think in this market, you're going to list and sell your property without any agent's help. So let's just agree on that. Is that fair?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So what's this Zillow side note here? What's this Zillow strategy? Or is this something you're going to cover in your FSBO domination thing?
Yeah, so we do. So one of the things that we do to help consumers understand Zillow is we do two things. We do what we call a Zillow marketing review. In that marketing review, we help them understand what Zillow is and what Zillow is not. And once we explain that, let me explain this a little bit for the people watching this right now. And so they understand how it works. The first time, Aaron, we ask the question to a for sale by owner, and we say, who's Zillow's customer? The sellers say every time what?
The buyers.
The buyers are me.
Me, yeah, sorry.
Right?
I'm thinking like a realtor. I'm thinking like a realtor.
Exactly. So the lens that the consumer says, they think that Zillow, that they're the customer of Zillow. When they find out for the first time, Aaron, that the customer is us, realtors, do they almost fall off their chair? And they say, well, why? Well, why is that? And then I explain in the Zillow ad review, I say, listen, why do you believe, Aaron, that they want you to put your house on their platform for free? Walk me through that strategy really quick. And they say a bunch of different things, right? Different people say different things. The reality is so they can sell more ad space to their customer, which is who, Aaron? The realtor.
The realtor. Oh.
The realtor. So Aaron, let me ask you this. Why are you getting so many phone calls from realtors and rarely do you call from a buyer?
Because I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because Zillow has this and has it in play. We should be getting buyers. We got the signs out, so I have no idea.
So it's that whole thing. So we go through that what we call a Zillow ad review at our preview appointment, and so the whole goal, getting face to face, and we're gonna get back to our debate because you're not getting out of anything, dude.
Oh, no, don't worry about that, man. I'm being nice and listening.
No, so the whole goal, right, is to be totally agreeable with the for sale by owner. I talk a lot about reverse selling and not overcoming any objections on that first call, but just getting face to face and saying things to a seller to say, listen, Aaron, let's just take a step back. I mean, you're going to sell the house on your own, no problem. Because I teach people to never take what a seller says literally. Most agents are getting caught up in what I say the bait, where they get all these objections and then they feel like they have to overcome all these objections over the telephone. Just get agreeable and get face to face. It's just like when you met your wife. Let me role play this out. Are you ready?
Oh, you're gonna try to marry me?
Yeah, watch. What's your wife's name again?
Lisa.
Lisa. All right. How long have you guys been married?
7 years. We've been together for 10. Coming up on 10 years. Can you believe that? She put up with me that long?
I have no idea what the hell's wrong with her, but no.
Me neither.
So I've been married for about 10 years too. So here's my issue with traditional
marriages,
real estate trading. Ready? So 10 years ago, I'm Lisa, you're Aaron. Ring, ring.
I got to, okay, I'm going to put you as my, okay, got it. Okay. Hello?
Hey, is this Aaron?
Yes.
Aaron, my name is Lisa. My friend Amy wanted me to reach out. I was looking at your Facebook and, you seemed like a good guy. And I was hoping to take you out to dinner one night.
You're too sweet.
And so I was trying to see what are you up to Friday night? Are you open to having a quick dinner and getting to know each other?
I would love to have dinner with you.
Awesome. So when I see you Friday night, Aaron, assuming you like what I have to say, assuming you like what you see, are you planning to marry me when I take you out to dinner Friday night?
I'm not going to go where my mind just went, but No,
hell no. You're hanging up the phone and you're blocking me on Facebook. You're probably calling the police. You're getting a restraining order. You're calling your friend Amy to say, who's that psycho that just proposed to me? I never even talked to her my whole life. And that's what traditional real estate's teaching us. They're teaching us to propose to people on the first interaction. And that's what's so hard for agents to understand, calling expireds or FSBOs, that a lot of people are teaching them to propose in the first interaction on earth together. And it goes against human nature. What are your thoughts on that? And I'm going to show you what I teach in just a second.
Here's what I would say, at least from what I've learned from contacting expires. Okay. People are open to getting married 15% of the time. 85% of the time, no way. No way. Maybe it's different on for sale by owners, but that's been my experience. That's definitely been what I've been looking at. Not that I want to marry you 15% of the time, but I got a 15 out of 100 chance.
Yep. So I would agree. And here's the challenge. When we teach real estate agents how to win with home runs, which a home run is a proposal over the phone, and the seller says, you know what, Aaron? Yeah, if you come over and I like what you have to say, I'll list my home with you. That's what we define as a home run. The problem with that is it takes 3, 4, 5 hours a day of prospecting, 5.5, 6, maybe 7 days a week for a long period of time to get good at that. And I think you would agree, most agents they can't stay it. They can't do it that long. And so, Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree with that.
Okay. Now, what if we taught them to do this? Ready? This is Lisa 10 years ago. Lisa, I love you. I don't know why you're married to Aaron, but I'm sure you're amazing. So 10 years ago, you call Aaron and goes, ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
Hey, my name is Lisa. My friend Amy asked that I reach out. I was actually just, yeah. And so she asked that I call, and she said that we should probably go out and have dinner. Are you open for, I know this is kind of weird, but are you open Friday? Maybe we can go grab a quick dinner.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Awesome. And listen, let's not commit to doing anything. Let's just have a quick dinner. Let's not make it weird, and we'll see where it goes. Is that fair?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to make it weird.
Awesome. Well, dude, what's your favorite place? What's your favorite steakhouse?
I'm just a big fan of McDonald's.
Perfect. Let's go to McDonald's. Let's go there Friday night at 7 o'clock, and we'll go from there. Fair enough?
Awesome. I can't wait to see you. I'm waiting.
So that's it. So in a high level, that's what I teach. And I teach people to help a seller to lower their anxiety, lower their guard. You don't have to talk about objections, none of that stuff. I just want to get face-to-face, because I'm not going to commit to anything. You shouldn't commit to anything either, Aaron, until we get until we get face-to-face, and we can figure out what makes the most sense from there. Fair enough. And the person's like, yeah, that's pretty fucking reasonable.
Yeah, I will concur with that. I will concur. It's just a question, in my opinion, because, if I'm going on an expired, I'm going to get that appointment. I'm probably going to close 80% of the time. Boom, when I go. All right. So that's slam dunk, easy business. I want to say easy because nothing's easy. And the thing is with you, the difference is you're going for the long game. Like, how long does it take? I mean, because for me, like Jimmy, how long does it take to get what would you say? I go on an appointment, we're closing 80% of the time. 80%. Yeah. 80% of the time. So for you, how long you keep in touch? 2, 3 months?
So average right now is 39 days from meeting to conversion, listing, sign in the ground.
No patience.
So here's the thing that we've got to look at. Well, the way that you phrase that, someone watching this would say, well, yeah, I want it right now, like most agents. That's why they have shiny object syndrome. That's why they're off on all these different shit, because they want the shot of adrenaline right now. But here's what the deal is, dude. Like, how long would it take an agent to get that now listing appointment, to get a skill set perspective? And number 2 is, if we can teach an agent how to have 15 to 20 face-to-face appointments over a 30-day period of time, they will have amazing opportunities in month 2 to list 4, 5, 6 homes that following month. That's number 1. Number 2 is when we look at and we scale that out over 12 months, we see agents that are no longer burning out from having to call 4, 5, 6 hours a day, getting rejected and hung up on, trying to overcome these objections. And they're saying, holy shit, what did I get myself into? Is real estate for me? We teach people to prospect for 45 minutes a day, set their 1 face-to-face appointment per day, go on 5 a week, and now they're in the homes with sellers 5 days a week, every month throughout the entire year. It just gives them a lot more confidence, and the production, most importantly, is a lot higher than what it was when they were trying to look for home runs.
So, all right, so we're going different stuff here. Okay, we're going totally like you're here and I'm here, and we're going vice versa. So let me ask you this then. All right, so you go knock on, because for me, like I said, I go 10 doors. I'm closing 8. keep in mind when I first started is you got to start somewhere, right? My conversion rate in my first year was at 20%. Then I went to 40, then I went to 60, then I went to 80% conversion rate. So like you said, it's not having the skill to get in there. You can stumble across the business no matter what, as long as you're trying. All right. And it's just your skills eventually get better and better and better, because no matter what, even with what you're doing, this is cool pointing out. Oh, we're sideways now, I think. I can never do that way. What you're doing, I would assume that you didn't start off amazingly awesome. You kind of got there over a period of time, right?
Yep.
So how many doors are you knocking? How many are you going into that you're closing?
Well, so just to be clear, my listing conversion is like yours. At a listing appointment, we're at 80%. It's at 81 right now. Now, the thing that I think what we're saying is, I think we're saying a little bit of the same thing, but I think the difference is.
Well, let me rephrase myself then.
Okay, perfect.
You go knock on. You go on 10 previews, right? You're going on 10 previews, 10 previews. How many of those are you actually getting a listing opportunity on?
3.5.
Exactly 3.5?
Yeah, it's always
3.6.
No, it's 35% over the last 6 years.
All right, well, that's definitely a quantifiable number right there. So you go on 30, you go on 3, let's just round it up. Let's say 4, just to make it easy, because you're 36%. Yeah. Round up to 4. Out of 4, you will lock down 3 out of 4.
That's right.
Okay. Got it. So we're basically, the interesting part here is we're doing something different. And I don't know why I keep doing this. I don't know what to do with my hands. FSBO's expireds is that we're both doing something different, but it's kind of a bit of the same, right?
It is.
And it's kind of like, what you're doing, not to say it's not something I want to do. I'm in it. I want that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Like and I think that when you speak or when I speak, we have to be careful of which lens we're speaking through.
Right.
I list a lot of expireds, but most recently where I've been really focused on succeeding or helping other agents succeed throughout the world, as I shifted that lens, I speak a lot of the times through other agents' lenses, no longer my lens. So like, here's what I know to be true. And I'm going to broad brush a little bit. Is that okay?
No.
Come on, I got a broad brush.
I don't even know what the hell a broad brush is, but knock yourself out.
A broad brush is like a generalized statement that you're going to agree with 1,000%. Are you ready?
So I have no choice but to lose?
Correct. So here we go. So you're going to agree. Because you've been helping a lot of agents in your career. You've been doing a lot of good work. And I think what you find to be the biggest struggle is getting agents to actually do the work.
Yeah.
So because what you're referring to when you speak, you make the massive assumption that people are actually doing the work. Because conceptually, what trainers and speakers do all the time is they assume that agents are calling 4 or 5 hours a day. And conceptually, it makes sense to go through the home run strategy, where you prospect for 4 hours a day. You find that one person that says, yeah, come on over. If I like what you have to say, I will marry you on the spot. The problem is the assumption that we made is that the agent can stick that much and actually do the work. What I'm finding to be true is most agents aren't. And so how do we create a world where an agent can get into this business, still list property at a high level without them quitting in 45 days?
Right. So, I mean, from what it seems like to me here, I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I'm good.
No, because I mean, I think am I allowed to say the cool part about what you're doing without completely insulting what I'm doing?
Sure.
How about we say something nice about one another? How's that sound?
Perfect.
All right. I think that is when you're actually going out there and physically meeting people, especially when you're new to the business, it's giving you an appointment. Because theoretically, you should be going on an appointment every day.
That's right.
Whether it's an expired or for sale by owner, a lunch, an attorney, something. Yep. And if you're going on that, so this gives somebody not just the ability to fill their time, but especially with the class you teach, is focused time being spent in one particular place, right?
That's exactly right.
So
you just nailed it.
Boom! There we go.
You just nailed it, because a new agent, not only is their confidence going up and they're setting an appointment every day and they're going to a seller's house every day, they're learning the market, right? Because they're inside these houses more so than the other agents. And when you talk about stumbling on business, dude, they go there and they can get someone to like them. That's how they're getting some quick come list me calls. And then you put some skill on top of it, some strategy and a system that's been proven. dude, they start to really, really hone in. So let's go back to the debate thing, unless you want to add anything to that.
I just wanted to be nice for a second.
Well, you know what? I'm going to be nice to you for a second,
No,
too.
I don't want you. No, I don't like nice.
All right. So, yeah, I think, going back to this whole expired for sale by owner thing, I think, let's just be clear. I think agents should have both strategies in their business, to be clear. I really believe that. That's like my business. My thing is, I believe FSBOs are a better, easier way for people to get listings than it is expired, because expireds are, for guys like you and I that have been doing this for over a decade, from a skills perspective, these other newer agents jump on a call with the expired and they get smoked and bitched out one time. Dude, they're never calling again.
Okay, let me ask you something. What percentage of personality profiles are for sale by owners?
What's that? I'm sorry?
What percentage of personality profiles are, what's the dominant, the dominant personality profile of a FSBO?
Geez, that's a good question. I don't know if I don't know. I would say a lot of them are dominant because they think they know everything.
A lot of them are. Jimmy,
Yeah.
what percentage of for sale by owners are Ds? Like almost all of them. You know why? Because
Sure.
they think they know what they're doing.
Right.
Even though they have no clue what they're doing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem you run into with a newbie agent that's running into this stuff is that they don't know how to deal with these type of people because they're flat out scared. Could you, like, you're dominant, right?
Yep.
Where I am. Could you imagine a new agent coming, knocking on my door? I would eat them alive.
Yeah.
I would eat them alive. Yet when you're dealing with it for sale by, when you're dealing with an expired, you've got 50% of the population is an S or a C. You've got 30% is a, what do you got? 10% is a D, 50 is an S or a C, and the rest are I's.
Right.
So you get the ability to get in there where it's going to be, maybe the phone call may not be as easy yet, because you're getting an easy phone call with you. My phone call may not be as easy, but when you get in the door, you have a much better chance of getting something done because of just the sheer personality profile of somebody.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. I would agree with that. Again, I just go back to, it's so freaking hard for these agents to get in the door. Because here's the other thing. Let's go on to another point. Let's talk about answer rates. Where for sale by owners, dude, it's like probably 95% of the time when we make outbound prospecting calls that a FSBO's answering. The number one objection that you probably hear from people that you teach and coach and train is like, dude, I can't get anybody fucking on the phone, Aaron. None of these expireds ever pick up their phone. So like FSBOs, we're getting the answer rates like insanely high.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, what I found with expires is that, they're going to answer within the first hour that they've expired. Okay. So as long as you're in there, you're doing your job, you're getting your stuff done, they will answer. I would say 70% of my appointments come from the first 20 minutes that I'm on the phone.
Say that one more time.
70% of all the appointments I set were within the first 20 to 30 minutes that I'm on the phone, because the list hasn't gotten beaten up yet.
Right.
With the FSBO, you identify yourself as an agent, because you're not getting, all right, how many are you actually getting into? Like, all right, you called 10. How many are actually letting you in the front door?
Let me walk you through the conversion funnel. Ready?
No.
I'm going anyway.
I knew you were. What the hell am I going to say? Would you agree with me on that? Yes.
All right. So here's the deal. Every market, give or take, is getting about 100 FSBOs a month. Okay. They get 3 to 4 a day. Okay. Some markets like Florida are getting 10. How many do you guys get per day? 3 or 4? 2 or 3?
1 to 2.
So you're 1 to 2. So you're on the low side. I'm right in the middle. In Michigan, 3 or 4. Some people are getting 10. So call it 90. Okay. But you're going to meet face to face, Aaron, with 25%. Okay. So of 100, you're going to meet with 25 in a 30-day period. You with me so far?
Yes.
Of the 25, based on our preview face-to-face appointment strategy, you will turn 35% of those into actual listing opportunities, and you will list 80% of them. So that's how that's what that waterfall looks like, where I can get an agent to list 6 to 7 homes a month, every single month, like clockwork, based on that funnel.
So I'm just saying, imagine what it would look like if you put the two together.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just saying that's some powerful stuff right there.
I agree.
That is pretty intense, because if even if you rock down 2 to 3 for sale by owners, 2 to 3 expires, it kind of gives you 2 different avenues on what you're working for. Because how can I put it? Is that it's a question on who's doing what, right?
Yeah.
Because certain things are going to lend to me, certain things are going to lend to you, even though what I'm talking about is very good for me. Because I do call for sale by owners, don't get me wrong.
No, I call expireds.
Yeah, so I've locked down quite a few for sale by owners, maybe not using the strategy that you use. But I mean, for you, Can you repeat back the for sale by owner strategy that you use when you call somebody? I'd like to hear that again.
Yeah, the first call script.
Yeah, I just want to hear that. I'm not gonna beat you up or anything.
Yeah, yep. So ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. It's Brandon. I'm a local realtor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Good. Listen, I saw your house for sale on Main Street. I know you're selling it yourself, Aaron, which I think is smart in this market. I was just curious if an agent brought you a fully qualified buyer, if you'd be open to working with an agent.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. And so what I like to do quickly, I might be able to stop by one day this week, take a quick look, make some recommendations before getting to work. What's the best day to stop by? You got mornings or afternoons?
Tuesdays.
All right, let's do Tuesday in the afternoon, right around 1 o'clock. Fair enough?
Sounds good.
I'll see you then. Click.
All right, so let me ask you this, because now what if someone says, do you have a buyer?
Yep. So how we respond to that, I don't teach anybody to take the bait. You can only eat in person. And so what that means, Aaron, is we don't get caught up into why you should be open to it or why I don't have a buyer. All I simply say is, listen, what I'd like to do, Aaron, before getting to work is going to stop by, see what you have. I'll make some recommendations. And then from there, we'll see what we can do to help you out. Fair enough? Does that sound reasonable? Or I go back to the forced choice close. But that's how we respond to that when someone asks.
May I make a suggestion?
Please.
You know what I say? Ask me if I have a buyer.
Aaron, are you bringing a buyer?
I wish I did. That would make both of our lives so much easier. Yet I'd still like to stop by, take a look at the property, and see what works. What works better, late morning, early afternoon, or Saturday.
Yeah, love it.
It's one of those things that's just a simple bypass.
Yeah.
Because what I hate, and if you would have said this, I would have just been like, all right, we're done. If we had a buyer, and then if you said, I have to take a look at the property and see, I don't like it when people do that at all.
I hate it.
It's so scuzzy.
Yeah, so we never, ever bait and switch a FSBO. Like 0% of what I do or what I teach is like tricking the FSBO to get us to come over. Here's what I teach. If you don't set that appointment on the face-to-face, I don't give a shit what they say. You're following up the next Monday. Every time, no exceptions, no excuses. They say, I'm never listing it. I'll chop my arm off before I give you a commission. Do you have a buyer? Then you can't come over. Doesn't matter. We never take that literally. They go into our FSBO follow-up system.
And then, because the thing is at least from what I experience is that you can call Monday and then you call next Monday and they won't even remember who the hell you are.
Not only that, you're right, dude. And I applaud you because you fucking get it. And that's why I love you so much.
Oh, kiss.
Yeah. But the other thing.
Kiss me back.
There you go.
There we go.
So the other thing that happens, dude, is time. When time goes by, I give the analogy of like when you drive up to a traffic light. When it's green, Aaron, you're fine. But when it turns yellow, well, time has gone past. You have new information, and now you have to make a new decision. The same thing happens with FSBOs. Week over week over week over week, they get new information, which causes a new situation, which causes them to react differently. So when you call in weeks 4, they're much more apt to do things that they promised you they would never do in week 1.
Exactly, because it's the difference with expires and for sale by owners, and this is what I see the most common is it's almost like you have a reverse period, right? Where it's like it expired, you got to get them while they're hot. Then from there, it's kind of like it's a funnel that way, right?
That's right. What you just did.
And then your funnel, and you remember Diamond Dallas Page? Anybody?
Yeah.
And then your funnel is this way.
That's right.
So it's a reverse funnel, which is I never thought about it that way, but that's really an interesting way to explain it. And it's just you got to get them while they're hot, and then you got to schmooze them a little bit.
That's right. That's right. So I think you're right, dude. I mean, regardless of strategy, I think understanding how to approach these different lead sources, I think agents have to have both pillars. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. And I think, the success that both of us have seen is that we both have those follow-up plans and systems in place where, you could take it through expired mastery if you want to learn expireds. You can take it through FSBO domination to be able to get it through for sale by owners. And if you guys don't, if you didn't figure it out, there we go, right? I can never do it this way. It feels so odd. It's Brandon's course that we're going to be talking a lot more of down the road. It's making sure that you have a system. If it's my system, if it's Brandon's system, you just follow it to a T, and eventually you will succeed. I promise you that, right?
Yep, exactly right. So, no, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. and when people have questions, they'll reach out. And I think both pillars are important to build a big listing business. I think agents have got to stop. There's only a small percentage that are calling expires and FSBOs. I mean, it may seem like a lot, but on the big scheme of things, agents are scared of them both.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, if it's not this, you just got to find something that makes sense for you. It's just these are tried and true. It's that simple. You want to eat, get some FSBOs. You want to eat, get some expires. Those are the easiest. What do they say? For sale by owner, fastest sources of business opportunity.
That's right. Yep.
Expires. I don't know what the hell they mean by expires, but I can come up with something off the top of my head if you give me another like 37 seconds. So, Brandon, I know I want you to start doing some live calling in here if you're cool with that.
I'd love to.
Okay. Do you want to kind of explain? You're going to be on here soon and doing some more stuff. You want to kind of explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a lot more live calling inside this group, so people can get an understanding of how people are responding, how for sale by owners are responding to meeting face to face. That's number one. Number two is what I don't mind doing at all is doing a for sale by owner training for your group and all the people inside your group. So that if someone's watching this, Aaron, and they say, dude, I want to go after FSBOs, I just don't know the approach to take, I don't mind at all. In the next couple of weeks, you and I planning on doing a live for sale by owner training where I'll go deep on the systems and the strategies for your audience. And we can maybe plan that in the next couple of weeks. Is that fair?
Dude, that'd be great. I think that'd be awesome. So, guys, we will we'll be in touch about everything. You're going to see some new cool stuff because now's when you got to start hitting the pavement. There's business opportunity out there, especially with FSBOs. We're hitting them hard right now just because they ain't selling and they're going to some of them need to sell right now. So, so Brandon, any last words, anything else, pockets of knowledge you got?
No, I think what you just said is what I'm messaging too. As this market starts to shift, more of the hobby agents are getting out. We have much more opportunities with more expireds and for sale by owners not selling. So it's a great time to focus on listings. And so agents should be super excited. They shouldn't be, scared about this shifting market.
Don't even get me started on that. Okay. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for popping on here. My friend, even though you are, Michigan, I'm cool with the Wolverines.
There we go.
I dig the Wolverines, man. Best freaking helmets in all of football.
That's right.
So, brother, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. And I think it's clear to say expires won.
I don't know. We'll let the people decide. I'll see you soon, brother.
Thanks. All right, later, guys.
All right, see you.